Japan has a strong cultural identity and everybody knows about it. One of the greatest things is that Japan has been so good at bringing the excellence of other culture from other country and taking these pieces, localize it, incorporate into our own culture. So in a way, Japanese culture, the identity we have, but it has been some pieces are from different countries. Our life philosophy, belief, we have Shintoism, which is way back prehistoric time. Then in the 6th century, Buddhism arrived from India, China, Korea, and through Korea to Japan. Then from 7th century, Japan started sending official mission to China. So Japanese government was sending officials and scholars, and among them there was Kukai. He later became the founder of Shingon Buddhism. So as an example, he went to China in this part of mission. So he was chosen to receive esoteric text, which he formed Hat Sutra. And not only Buddhism, but also he studied how the country is governed and also how the infrastructure system of the country, and for example, architecture as well. And together, calligraphy and Chinese studies. So he brought everything back and he set up Koya Mountain, the first Buddhism center. So during that time, not only Kukai, but others also brought the teaching, what they learned in China. And we localized it in Japan. So one of the things is kanji character, Japanese writing system. So Japanese writing system came around 6th century, and this was when we only had a vocal language, and we adopted Chinese character. But then later we developed our hiragana, katakana, phonetic alphabet. So some of the kanji we share with original China, but also the kanji has been simplified. So we have 3 different writing systems. One is kanji, and one is hiragana, phonetic alphabet, or 50 phonetic alphabet. And another set of 50 to write foreign words, like, for example, your name, so that we can extend our vocabulary to describe foreign language. So even in Japanese writing system, we have the influence from China. So before Chinese character arrived in Japan, we already had our language. But then we adopted this kanji writing system. So then over the century, it's evolved. And in our current Japan, and if you see the Japanese language, you see kanji and phonetic alphabet. And some of the kanji has been also simplified, and also we have our own kanji as well. So it became fused. So Chinese character became part of Japanese character. And about tea. So we have beautiful tea ceremony and also tea drinking culture. But originally tea was brought from China. And in the beginning, it was more for like a medical use. Then when Zen Buddhism arrived, so Eizai, in the 12th century, he has also studied the origin of tea ceremony. Then in the 16th century, Sen no Rikyu has established our current tea ceremony, way of tea, Sado, and Chado also we say. And so the tea itself was brought from China, then we made it in our own. And sencha is origin of Japan, Japanese, and Chinese tea was brought to Japan, but we cultivated our own tea. Like for example, sencha, and also matcha is origin of Japan. So it's like receiving beautiful cooking ingredients, and then we cook by ourselves and we make beautiful dinner. So many components from other countries we have adopted and localized and improved. And in the 16th century, Portuguese missionary arrived in Japan, and this was also the time that we have received Christianity. And although Christianity was banned later, we had also some influence of Portuguese culture, like some of the Japanese sweets, for example, and some of the Japanese words we have origin in Portuguese. And later, in the 17th century, Dutch arrived, and we have long history of trading with, and during that time, Western medicine was brought by the Dutch, and we had in Japan Dutch studies. And alongside, we were also trading with China. So for the life philosophy, during the shogunate, we have adopted Confucianism. So with Shinto and Buddhism, and to complement to life philosophy, Confucianism was very convenient for the ruler of Japan, because it created the senior, junior hierarchy and creating relationship based on loyalty. And during the Edo period, 7 virtues of Bushido, for example, that's most of the principles are based on loyalty, honesty, and they originate from Confucianism. Also, Zen Buddhism, as I said, first Kukai established Shingon Buddhism, and Zen Buddhism came later as well. Zen Buddhism is more like symbol of Japanese life philosophy. It's also translated into expressing our aesthetics. So you can see the iconic Zen garden, for example, and also the philosophy of wabi-sabi is originated from Zen, but also in a kind of fusion of Shinto, Buddhism, other Buddhism aspect is in it. So you can see in Japanese art as well, especially in Chinese character, that is originally, calligraphy is originally from China, but also some of the special aspect, our relationship with nature, which is developed in Japan to bring more into the art and aesthetics. So Japanese aesthetics was born as a result of studying other art, but also combining with Japanese original way of life and belief, which is Shinto. So everything what you see, we have influence, but Shintoism is really the base of Japanese way of being, and it's in our DNA. So the foundation of Japanese culture, Japanese way of thinking is originated and its base in Shintoism. Then we have Buddhism, the other influences, for example, strongly from China. And then we cooked all together. But the original aspects, something really original and stands out in Japanese culture, if you dig into that, then you arrived in Shinto way of thinking and belief. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, please do so that you can also read in depth of what I talk. See you next time.